acknowledge our amazing, dedicated group of classified employees. As someone who works at every school, I have the unique opportunity to see firsthand the work that the various groups of classified employees do. And let me tell you, these people are working tirelessly to make our schools a better place for students to thrive. I could talk for hours about all the things that people do from every classification, but since I only have 3 minutes, I want to start with highlighting the group that I work closest with, which is the behavior team. Nicole Sayers, she starts the day at 7:30, taking calls, planning for her week. She travels between sites, helping to coach teams on implementation of behavior intervention plans. She'll be there in a blink of an eye to support a team when a crisis happens. I receive calls daily with requests for more Nicole time. I'm not honestly sure when she ends her day because after the workday is done, she is usually busy attending a board meeting or doing something to support the CSEA team. Our students excel because of her support. Caroline Frederick. With the increased behavior needs in our district this year, Caroline stepped up to volunteer to be our traveling behaviorist. She's worked at Valimar, IBL, Sunset Ridge, Ocean Shore, and Cabrillo this year. When there is a need, she just jumps right in. And our students excel because of her support. Cynthia Dimmick. She makes sure that the students in the special day class maintained a high level of academic rigor and had all the support they needed during times of uncertainty and transition. Her positivity influences everyone she interacts with. Our students excel because of her support. Mimi Igumbiati. Suddenly everything is virtual? No problem. Overnight, Mimi put together slideshows and crafted behavior lessons for students to do with her online. She taught our team how to embrace new technology. Our students excel because of her support. Marisa Schaff, guru of supporting any student need, always with a smile. She provides support to our team that helps us go during the most challenging times. Our students excel because of her support. Gia Ramsey. She works tirelessly to ensure our students have the skills they need to succeed and be as independent as possible in the least restrictive setting as possible. Our students excel because of her support. Sadie Olson, our newest member who joined us last year, and yet when you meet her, you would think she's been doing this for 15 years. She works so effectively with our students, and our students excel because of her support. I would also like to say a special thank you to Kalechi and Alex, who have been helping to provide some extra support for some of our students who needed a little more after returning to in-person learning. All in all, my job is a lot easier because of this team, and I could not do it without them. Thank you for your time.
The next one, I think, is Patrick Sayers, representing the Pacifica School Volunteers. Oops. Here comes Patrick. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, everybody. I'm Patrick Sayers, I'm Executive Director of the Pacifica School Volunteers, and we help support the teachers and students in the school district by providing volunteers that work in the classroom and help students who are maybe struggling in certain topics like literacy and math. I wanted to update the board on some of the things that we're doing. One is that we continue to look for volunteers to work in the classroom. We've had a little drop of volunteers since the return of COVID, with some volunteers concerned about coming back into the school and into the public schools. So we're now looking for additional volunteers to go into the classroom to help our students. The next thing is that we are looking for a volunteer coordinator. It's a part-time position, and they're responsible for recruiting and placing and screening volunteers. And that position is posted on our website at pacificaschoolvolunteers.org. In addition, we want to let the community know and the board know that we are doing our ThinkBridge camp this year. with all the construction projects going on in the district. We are moving from Valleymar School to IBL School, and we're having the same camp but in a different location. And I wanted to thank the district for all their support in helping us find a good camp space while the rest of the district is under construction. And then finally, we are looking for a bilingual volunteer who we have a elementary school student who needs support in terms of bilingual support, speaks English and Spanish. And if you know of anybody that can help a student who's falling a little bit behind, then please let us know. I'm at psv.director@pacificasd.org. And that's all. Thank you.
There are no more virtual. Any public comment?
Public comment.
With humans.
All right, I guess we're moving on to correspondence.
Correspondence I did receive and will publish on our website is the review of our second interim budget by San Mateo County Office of Ed, and we'll share that on our website as well as share that with each of you.
So we go on with board communication. We can start down at the end with trustee Berdolo.
Okay. I was able to participate in teacher and staff appreciation week at IBL. Attended the Pacifica Collaborative and the IBL and Ocean Shore Band concert, which was back in person the first time in 2 or 2.5 years. And they did a wonderful job, the kids and the director and everybody. So it was just really fun to see everyone back in person. We had the work study, IBL open house, and Jefferson Union High School had the grand opening of their workforce housing. So that was a big event up there Friday, although cold and windy. It was, very well attended, and I think they have 120 units, maybe a couple more. And it was, we got to see a tour and have all the speakers, and it was a really nice event. Look forward to ours someday.
I attended staff appreciation with Superintendent Olson at Cabrillo. I also showed up to the housing event late, and then a child incident made me leave early, as always. But that was great. And then I also received some communications from a teacher and a parent.
I had my regular meeting, first of the month meeting with the superintendent. And I also attended the teacher appreciation at Ortega and Ocean Shore, helping pass out the spiritware that we have. I just want to say thank you to all the teachers and the staff for everything that you guys do. I also attended the CPAC meeting, and one of the big announcements that came out of that is that there's like these pieces of CPAC, and next year they're going to combine them all so there's no confusion, and I think that's a great idea. I also went to Ortega's open house. I don't know if you guys have been there. They have the big 3. And so I bought raffle tickets for that. They had 10 tickets to Disneyland was one of the prizes. I'm like,
Wow. Your whole family.
we didn't win, but oh well. But those were some things I had planned on coming to the meeting, and also the workforce housing. But I got my second booster, and it pretty much knocked me out. And so I just want everybody to know that COVID's still out there. I have a lot of family members right now who have it, so if you qualify for the booster, and I think I just read that Pfizer got the okay for 5 to 11-year-olds for the booster.
Let's see, I also attended the IBL Ocean Shore 6th grade concert. That was great to just, again, be back in schools and seeing normal stuff happening. I went to the teacher appreciation at Valleymar. And again, it was just great to see all the teachers there, and just to see everybody in person and thank them. It was great. Also, the IBL open house. I also got my booster shot, so again, please make sure if you can get those, do. And I also had a couple meetings with a few staff members that came to me to talk about special education. So that was my last couple weeks.
Yeah. Pretty much the same. Went to IBL for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Sunset Ridge.
Sunset Beach Teacher Appreciation Weekend. Principal kind of was gracious enough to tour us around the classrooms, and it was really nice to see the teachers and the students. I also went to IBL Ocean Shores Advanced Band Concert, IBL's open house. We did the work study, so I'm just repeating everything I said here. But yeah, that was pretty much what's been going on with me.
We're going to spend a lot of time together in the next several weeks.
Yes.
I'd just like to make a shout out. This is CSEA Classified Employee Appreciation Week, and sometimes it gets lost in the celebration of the month. But if we think about the really valuable contributions from school secretary to custodian to a number of district office positions, classified folks do a really wide variety of important jobs, and we are grateful for their service to our students and families.
Let's move on to presentation.
Okay, we are going to elevate Emily Hennessy to panelist. Here she comes, I think. Emily. Hang on one second, promote to panelist.
She should be on the way.
She will be rejoining the webinar as a panelist. Good. There she is. She's coming in. Hi, Emily. Can you hear us?
She's muted.
Emily, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Oh, got it. Sorry, technology. Our friend. Good evening. Thank you, everybody, for your time this evening. I am Emily Hennessy, and I am the president of Pacifica Education Foundation, or PEF. And so just tonight, for those of you that aren't super familiar with PEF, I just wanted to give you a brief overview of who we are and what we do. Speak about the current funding that we provide to the district for the school year, how we raise money for Pacifica students, school district students, and of course, how you can support PEF, and then how you can contact us. So what is PEF? So our mission is to protect and advance the quality education for all students in the Pacifica School District. We were founded in 2008. We are a nonprofit, and we are completely independent of the school district. We began providing programmatic funding to the district in the school year of 09-10, and we are a very small but mighty board. We have 6 person, we're all volunteer. We are all full-time professionals as well as parents. We are very proud of the percentage of every dollar that goes directly to programming, so funding the district for the programming we support. So 96 cents of every dollar goes directly to program costs. We operate on a very low overhead, and a lot of our board members absorb, of course, a bit of the costs, the administrative costs. So again, to keep it very low. Oh, I see. Okay, no worries. I have it up on my screen too, just in case there was some technical difficulties. No worries. So the goals of PEF are pretty simple. We raise funds to fill the gaps in the district. We, of course, always align with the district's strategic plan. We work very closely with the superintendent just to make sure that where we're filling in those gaps, that they are driven by the priorities of the district. We support core curriculum, so we don't necessarily support sort of one-off programs here and there. We just try to be much more strategic about our investment. And then we promote equity. So if we if PEF decides to fund some programming, we want to make sure that it's equitable across all the age groups and all of the schools in the district. Next slide. There we go. So for the current school year, we've, which has been pretty much the funding has been similar. The amounts have been different, but the programs we're funding have been the same for the last 3+ years. So we fund the elementary music program for the 3rd through 5th graders, middle school band, and Spark Poetry for 5th graders. You see here that our investment, our commitment to the district is a little less than 120K this year. In the past, it has been more around the 150 to 160K range. It's less this year just because of the pandemic, and there's a lot of the expenditures that we usually fund that are have been removed just because of the pandemic. So an example would be, you know, the middle school band is not, they didn't do any summer programming, they didn't have field trips and things of that sort. So we expect to work with the district and the superintendent over for the next school year, and we'll probably bring that back up to the normal 150 to 160 range. Next slide. So how do we raise funds? So as you guys may have participated in the past prior to the pandemic, we host a couple events. One is the PEFathon, which usually happens in October, and then the Winter Gala, which has been anywhere between December to February. We had a very successful event that we in February 2019, so we're hoping to replicate that next school year. Donation Days, which has been since the pandemic our big fundraising event. We just ended it last week, and thank you to the schools, to the superintendent, everybody that spread the word and sent out emails announcing it. We typically do it for 3 days, which is it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We create school competitions, so there's some top prizes. This year, the first prize was the most funds raised by any of the 6 schools. The second prize was the most unique donors that we had in the school, and the third prize this year is the most improved. So how much of a percentage improvement over funds raised over the prior year. So can't yet share who those winners are. The PEF board is meeting tomorrow night to sort of shore up everything and make sure that we get everything buttoned up. And then we will be sending out an announcement to the community and of course the schools on Friday. So thank you everybody for spreading the word. We had an ambitious goal of raising $85,000 at the midnight on Friday, which was technically the close of donation days. We were at 82 and some change, and we've got a few more donations and memberships that came in through the weekend. So I think we're very, very close to our $85,000 goal, which is amazing and is $12,000 more than we raised the prior year. So thank you for everybody. And then finally, family membership program. So I just wanted to mention that this has been we launched it in 2019 as a soft launch, and really during the pandemic, we've really heightened the importance of it. It is a sustainability for PEF to make sure that we get ongoing commitment from families, that they see value in what PEF does, what they fund. And then of course, the big thing is the 50+ local partners that we, that provide some sort of special discount or promotion to PEF members. So that is all something that we're highly promoting, and we encourage everybody. So as you see, the next slide is how can you support us? So there's a number of ways, and I think I've kind of touched on a few of them. So if you're not a PEF member, please be a PEF member. There's 4 different levels, and we just that have ranging benefits, but for the most part, just be a PEF member, use your PEF membership card at those local businesses, show them your support. We really encourage people to get the discount, not so much of saving money, but just showing the business that they're getting more patrons, and you know, the marketing is happening for them also to be part of the PEF membership program. When we have events, which we're hoping will start next year, is to share those, attend them, which I know some of you have been big attenders of events in the past. You know, just spreading the word about PEF, letting you know what we do. we still have some challenges with families around letting them know that we're different than the PTOs, that they should support both PTOs and PAF. So helping to reinforce that messaging is great. We're starting to embark on grant writing, which we really haven't had a very big emphasis on the past, but just looking at sustainability for the future. So you come across families or whatnot that have any kind of connection to corporate, philanthropy and or, other family foundations and stuff, send them our way. And then finally, we're always looking to identify candidates that could serve as board members and then as volunteers. We do have a school ambassador program where we aspire to have 2 parent volunteers that serve as school ambassadors for each of the 6 schools, and they are really our communication channel between PEF and the schools. And then finally, how you can contact us. So if you want to just send a general email to info@Pacifica EF, that goes to all 6 of us board members. But if you want to reach out to me specifically about any questions, comments, or ideas, feel free. You can email me or call me directly. Any questions?
Plug, you were talking about the late memberships. I just renewed mine yesterday, so hopefully that put us over. But
I did see that. Yes.
Superintendent, and if I miss that, like, I can only imagine a ton of people, so I will try to put in my Friday is like, hey, just remember to check that. There's so much going on and people have so much on their plate that just I'll see if we can catch a couple extras, because I can't believe I missed that one.
Well, and on behalf of PEF, we're just incredibly grateful to the school communities, families, and just Pacific in general, that they really came out this year and went above and beyond what we thought they would with this super ambitious goal. And, it just warms our hearts that, with the million emails and everything that's still going on with the pandemic and life in general, that, families came out, very strongly to support PEF. So we're incredibly grateful for that.
Great. Anything else? Thank you. Thank you for your leadership, Emily.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
Right, we have another presentation.
I have that. There we go. Elma Flynn, so we need to elevate Tara. You got it? Good. Tara, can you hear us?
Yep, I can.
Okay, let's introduce Dr. Tara Stotz, who we are getting ready to have the Elma Flynn Awards on Friday evening, and we'll talk a little bit about the safety features on that. But this is a really amazing Pacifica tradition in terms of honoring outstanding school volunteers. So let me hand over to you, Dr. Knotts.
Thank you. I actually didn't do a background slide on Elna Flynn because many of you know, but Elna Flynn was an amazing volunteer many years ago. She has since passed, but this tradition carries on to nominate outstanding volunteers that go above and beyond. Of course, we have so many lovely volunteers in the whole district, but it's exciting to be able to honor our key performers. And I have to say, I know 5 or 6 of these women fairly well that I get to talk about tonight. And it's an honor to get to talk about them. And Heather's right, there will be a dinner on Friday honoring these, and many of the teachers and friends come to celebrate them. So I will start. First, we have Talia Brass. She's a Sunset Ridge family, and she's been there since 2016. And she does a lot to just support teachers and volunteer wherever she needs help, just supporting the PTO, gardening, gift projects, etc. She also created the Diversity and Inclusion Action Team, DIAT, as well as the Diversity and Inclusion website, which acknowledges our coastal town as ancestral lands of the Ohlone Native Americans. And she has actually worked closely with Rebecca on that effort, I believe. It's a great site to check out if you haven't yet done so. Rebecca Irwin Slater is also at Sunset Ridge, only 1 year in, and she was already PTO secretary and will be PTO president next year. She's a veteran teacher, so she can bring all of her teacher experience and really look at the board and ways they can support the teachers. She's also supports Own Voice, a social justice children's literature program, and helped bring guest speakers to Read Across America Day. And she's the Read Across sponsor a reader program at Sunset was the most successful fundraiser they've had to date at Sunset Ridge. Next slide. And then at Ortega, Maria Medina Jackson is being celebrated. For over 5 years, she has been involved in many different roles, including room parent and walkathon organizer. She was a fundraiser coordinator and then PTO president for 2 years. It is said that she is an optimist, keeping the students and family at the center of focus and support. And then Valamar recognizes Kathy Paulson. For 7 years, Grandma Kathy, as she's been called, has been volunteering at Valamar, supporting her grandsons, but she also had her own sons go through Valamar. She does everything from copies to classroom help to supporting school projects and keeping teachers organized. It is said that no job is too small or too big for Kathy. She is a selfless and hard worker. Next slide. At IBL, Janelle Jones, after all of her awesomeness at Ortega, went on to IBL and held IBL PTO positions and is the current president. This last year, I think, she's led the after school snack sales to support the 8th grade activities, as well as promoting spirit wear sales. Janelle is a strong supporter of teachers and staff and works hard all the time to provide the best for all students. And I believe she also actually works at IBO, if I'm correct, or at least did last year. So she's given her all to our district. She really has, including some election stuff for getting more funding into our schools. At LMEC, Gabby Osegueda, I hope I said that right, has been there for 3 years. Gabby has contributed countless hours of volunteering, especially at welcoming new LMEC families, people that are have preschoolers and haven't been used to the school setting before. I'm sure that's a welcome job. She's a representative on CPAC, the Special Education Committee, and the Family Engagement Team. Among her other contributions, she helped do a successful drive with the PRC and many of the youth groups at that site. It's probably as well as I think 4-H. Next slide. Our duo at Ocean Shore, I had the pleasure of working with both of these women. Patricia Balmas, she was at Ocean Shore since 2004 with 4 kids. Patricia has held many roles: special projects coordinator, alternative service chair. She was co-president with Michelle for 1 year, and PTO treasurer, the most selfless, you don't get thanked for that very often, treasurer for 11 years. She served as a CPAC rep a while back, and she's finishing volunteering at Ocean Shore as being the 8th grade ombud, which is like a parent classroom rep. And Michelle has been there since 2010 with her 2 kids. She's had many roles as well: social projects coordinator, parent rep on the PTO, and parent council rep as well. And she's just committed to any project, no matter how complicated it got. She was PTO president for 4 years, and she was finishing out this year as helping out with the 8th grade graduation coordination. Next slide. At Cabrillo, I've had the pleasure of knowing these people since they had little kids too. Lisa has been there for 13 years. She's a parent of 4. Lisa has been involved in roles such as classroom liaison, art chair. Lisa has been teaching art biweekly for many years and really making sure that every student has what they need for art, even during the pandemic. She coordinates events such as the 8th grade graduation, dinner dance, and Yosemite trip. And of course, also helps with things like the book fair and the main office and the auction. And Ashley, as many of you know, is a local Pacifican librarian as well. She's been at Cabrillo for 12 years and also as a PEF ambassador. She was also actively, she was the creative arts chair, a secretary, a lower and upper grade rep for the PTO. And Ashley has led music and PE classes as well as reading to the kids at school. And I think that's all.
We are incredibly grateful for the support that we receive from current volunteers. Just as a shout out, I'm noticing other places in the agenda where a number of these volunteers have had an impact. So I'll point that out as we go on that. I did just want to talk about the Elna Flynn, because this is the first gathering that we're going to have. That's a dinner event. And so it is in Moonraker in their bigger room. So there'll be more space than there traditionally has. We are going to offer rapid testing, voluntary rapid testing. Dr. Cundiff has agreed to help me on that. So if anyone wants to come around 6 o'clock, we will offer an outdoor rapid test, and then we'll mingle for about 15 minutes while we get the results of that. And then when people have a negative test, they can hop in there. As we've heard a few times, there is a surge going on. So we would ask that people wear masks while they're in the building, and then they would take it off, obviously, for eating and drinking. But I think as long as people are walking in with no symptoms and we have the additional layers of safety, I feel confident that we'll be able to gather safely. And I think there's going to be some excitement around this as well. Anything else, Dr. Knotts, with that?
Oh, she's back, but I didn't send the email.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you so much for the presentation.
All right, district business. The district values the goals provided in our local control accountability plan, LCAP, and strategic plan. All of our district board agenda items are tied to these goals. One or more goals are listed in the description of each board agenda item. The details for each of those district goals can be accessed on our website, www.pacificasd.org. All right, so. Resolution of appreciation for retiring teachers and classified staff. This is Dr. Torres.
Dr. Torres is homesick, so that's going to be us, and I will, I think, Dr. Cundiff, are you okay if we start with you?
For? Yes.
We have for Gloria, Yave, and Miss Little.
Do you have a copy of this? Or?
I do. We have hard copies even.
Great, so for Gloria Yave, resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, that whereas Gloria Yave has been a highly successful paraprofessional in the Pacifica School District since 2008, and whereas Ms. Yave has enriched the lives of countless number of students and their families at Sunset Ridge, and whereas Ms. Yava has provided excellent support to her administrator, teachers, staff, and students, demonstrating incredible patience, caring, and pride in her work and school, Ms. Yava was truly loved and respected. And whereas Ms. Yava has fulfilled all of her duties and responsibilities as a paraprofessional in a professional and highly exemplary manner, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District extends its best wishes to Gloria Yava upon the occasion of her retirement following 14 years of faithful and dedicated service to public education, and extends its sincere best wishes for a rewarding and fulfilling future. Regularly passed and adopted on this day, 18th of May, 2022.
We have one more for you, Dr. Cundiff. In our audience is retiree Mrs. Deborah Little.
Resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, that whereas Deborah Little has been a highly successful teacher in the Pacifica School District since 2006, whereas Miss Little has enriched the lives of countless number of students and their families at Sunset Ridge, and whereas Miss Little has provided excellent support to her administrator, teachers, staff, and students, demonstrating incredible patience, caring, and pride in her work and school, Miss Little was truly loved and respected by all. And whereas Miss Little has fulfilled all of her duties and responsibilities as a teacher in a professional and highly exemplary manner, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District extends its best wishes to Deborah Little upon the occasion of her retirement following 14 years of faithful and dedicated service to public education, and extends its sincerest best wishes for a rewarding and fulfilling future. Regularly passed and adopted this 18th day of May, 2022.
Ms. Labeo, should we have go with the Valimar, or should we go to Mr. Little?
I have Mr. Little teed up.
Okay, let's go with Mr. Little. Mr. Little is going to recognize Mr. Ken Tin, who is retiring from Ingrid B. Lacey.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I'm reading this for Kenneth Tin.
Resolved by the Board of Trustees of Pacifica School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, that whereas Kenneth Tin has been a highly successful teacher in the Pacifica School District since 2016, and whereas Mr. Tin has enriched the lives of a countless number of students and their families at Ingrid B. Lacey School, and whereas Mr. Tin has provided excellent support to his administrator, teachers, staff, and students, demonstrating incredible patience, caring, and pride in his work and school. Mr. Tin was truly loved and respected by all. And whereas Mr. Tin has fulfilled all of his duties and responsibilities as a teacher in a professional and highly exemplary manner. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District extend its best wishes to Kenneth Tin upon the occasion of his retirement following 5 years of faithful and dedicated service to public education, and extends its sincere best wishes for a rewarding and fulfilling future. Regularly passed and adopted this 18th day of May, 2022. I'd like to say that what I appreciate about Ken is his willingness to act as a mentor and life coach for students as they work their way through the twists and turns of adolescence. His classroom structure was built on creating social capital with his students through honest conversations and interactions. Real talk was at the core of what he does, and students responded well to the honesty he brought to the classroom. So often we've learned or taught things without having a connection to the real-world application and implications it may have on our future selves. Ken makes those connections for his students, and they appreciate him more for it. Ken's very serious in his approach to teaching. However, he's not opposed to having fun with his students. Whether it's dressing up in a unicorn onesie for Spirit Day, letting a student color his hair purple, dressing up as a historical figure, or donning a full Santa suit at the holidays, Ken was consistently been able to connect with students both inside and outside the classroom, and for that, I admire him greatly.
Next two candidates are from Valimar School. Barbara Frashenda, a cornerstone of the office at Valimar, is retiring.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
And I missed who I was doing first. Am I doing Rebecca or Barbara? Okay. Resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, that whereas Barbara Facenda has been a highly successful school secretary in the Pacifica School District since 2003, and whereas Ms. Facenda has enriched the lives of a countless number of staff, students, and their families at Valimar School, and whereas Ms. Facenda has provided the highest level of support to her administrator, teachers, staff, and students, demonstrating incredible patience, dedication, caring, and pride in her work and school, always with kindness, a positive attitude, and a generous heart. Mrs. Facenda was truly loved and respected by all. And whereas Ms. Facenda has fulfilled all her duties and responsibilities as a school secretary in a professional and highly exemplary manner. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District extends its best wishes to Barbara Facenda upon the occasion of her retirement following 19 years of faithful and dedicated service to public education, and extends its sincere best wishes for a rewarding and fulfilling future, regularly passed and adopted this 18th day of May 2022.
And our last retiree for today is Rebecca McMullen, who is from Valamar School.
Thank you. Resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, that whereas Rebecca McMullen has been a highly successful school assistant in the Pacifica School District since 2004, and whereas Ms. McMullen has enriched the lives of a countless number of students and their families at Valamar School, and whereas Ms. McMullen has provided excellent support to her administrator, teachers, staff, and students, demonstrating incredible patience, caring, and pride in her work and school. Ms. McMullen was truly loved and respected by all. And whereas Ms. McMullen has fulfilled all her duties and responsibilities as a school assistant in a professional and highly exemplary manner, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District extend its best wishes to Rebecca McMullen upon the occasion of her retirement following 17 years of faithful and dedicated service to public education, and extends its sincere best wishes for a rewarding and fulfilling future, regularly passed and adopted this 18th day of May 2022.
All right, do we have any questions regarding these resolutions?
Just congratulations. Everybody.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thank
everybody.
you.
I just want to give a special shout to Debbie Little. She taught my daughter for 2 years at Sunset Ridge, so it's particularly, touching for me. So, hi Debbie, thank you for everything. We love you. All right, do I have a motion to adopt the resolutions 2022-05-18-A through 2022-05-18-D and 2022-05-18-N?
I'll make a motion
Okay.
to approve. Do I have to say all that again?
No, you don't have to say that. To approve those resolutions. Do I have a second to approve?
I'll second.
Okay. Barbara, will you take the vote, please?
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
All right. Resolutions 2022-05-18 through E through 2022-05-18-L. Appreciation of parent volunteers and Pacifica Education Foundation. And this is you, Dr. Olson.
I'm going to, we have an amazing set of principals that have worked tirelessly through the pandemic to keep schools going and keep people safe. They continue to do this work. And now I'm going to ask them to help me out in reading the resolutions. And here's the challenge, is that while many of these are very, very similar, we don't want to read you 8 of them. So I'll kick us off with PEF, and then what I would do is ask each principal to pick the 1 or 2 paragraphs that are the most pertinent to their school, so that we can keep the spirit of this going and recognize that people, how much we value people. And so I'll get started around Pacifica Education Foundation, resolved by the Board of Trustees. So this will be in the entirety, and many of these resolutions are very, very similar. So we would ask each principal to pick the 1 or 2 paragraphs that are pertinent to their school. So be resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, whereas the Pacifica Education Foundation has become a treasured supportive, and invaluable volunteer base for the Pacifica School District, always focused on meeting the needs of our students and teachers as they engage in the educational process of the 21st century. Whereas this all-volunteer nonprofit organization of parents and community members have brought a wealth of experience, energy, and excitement to the benefit of the Pacifica School District by providing support to identified areas of need in instruction and other educational support. Whereas the foundation is given liberally of their volunteer time and effort, always putting in a good deal of their own personal expertise into every volunteer effort. And whereas each member of the foundation works tirelessly to provide additional funding to ensure that all children of the Pacifica School District receive a quality education that the state of California underfunds, such as Spark Poetry, 3rd through 5th grade music, and 6th through 8th grade band. Whereas the foundation has worked to ensure strong collaboration with district staff so Pacifica School District can remain focused on providing educational experiences and programs that prepare our students for an evolving world. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District recognizes the Pacifica Education Foundation for their many contributions to the students and families of the district, and further be it resolved that the board hereby extends its heartfelt appreciation to the Pacifica Education Foundation on behalf of the community, staff, and most importantly, the students of the school district. Regularly passed and adopted this 18th day of May 2022. So we will start off with the group which is F, which is Valamar.
All right, my two paragraphs that stood out to me are, whereas the parent volunteers of Valamar School have brought a wealth of experience, energy, and excitement to the benefit of the Valamar school site by contributing their time and efforts to provide a warm, welcoming, and professionally rewarding atmosphere for the teachers and staff of the school. And whereas each member of these vital groups has worked tirelessly when asked to raise monies to provide the extras needed for the school site, and oftentimes raising money to provide for the basic needs of the school.
Sunset Ridge, you have everything you need?
Yep. Do you want me to stand up there?
Sure.
Whereas the Sunset Ridge Elementary School PTO, the Diversity Inclusion Action Team, the School Parent Council, the DLAC, the CPAC, Room Parent Committee, the School Site Council, and the ELAC, and the Pacifica Education Foundation representative have been treasured and supportive and invaluable volunteers for the Sunset Ridge School site, always recognizing that it is all about the children. And whereas the parent volunteers of Sunset Ridge School have brought a wealth of experience, energy, and excitement to the benefit of the school site by contributing their time and efforts to provide a warm and welcoming and professionally rewarding atmosphere for teachers, staff, and most importantly, the students during the most trying times.
Thank you. Good job. Ortega? Hi, Patrick.
Hi. Whereas the parent volunteers of Ortega Elementary School have brought a wealth of experience, energy, and excitement to the benefit of the Ortega school site by contributing their time and efforts to provide a warm, welcoming, and professionally rewarding atmosphere for the teachers and staff of the school. And whereas each member of these vital groups has worked tirelessly when asked to raise monies to provide the vital supplemental programs needed for the school site, and oftentimes raising money to provide for the basic needs of the school.
Jean Bellinger.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Whereas the Ocean Shore School parent groups have been a treasured, supportive, and invaluable volunteer base for the Ocean Shore School site, always recognizing it is all about the children. And whereas the Ocean Shore School parent teacher organization, including the Diversity Learning Group, the Environmental Action Team, the representatives to all the district committees, including the parent council, as well as individuals and groups who oversee and help manage all of the Ocean Shore classrooms, special activities, Oceans 411, field trips, and enrichment, have worked together, recognizing their common goal of experiential learning and a well-rounded education in their capacity as volunteers and parents.
LMEC. Oops,
I got that.
IBL works too.
Comes LMEC.
You want to
IBL to go?
Okay. So whereas the parent groups of Ingrid B. Lacey Middle School have exhibited incredible and tireless effort in working together with other parents at the site and other parent groups district-wide, and whereas the parent volunteers of Ingrid B. Lacey Middle School have brought a wealth of experience, energy, and excitement to the benefit of the Ingrid B. Lacey Middle School site by contributing their time and efforts to provide a warm, welcoming, and professionally rewarding atmosphere for the teachers and staff of the school.
LMEC.
All right.
There we go.
Can you hear me? Okay. Whereas the Lindemar Educational Center parent groups have been a treasured, supportive, and invaluable volunteer base for the Lindemar Educational Center site, always recognizing that it is all about the children. Whereas the Family Outreach Liaison of Lindemar Educational Center has dedicated countless hours and resources to provide invaluable family and community outreach that supports the inclusion and growth of students of all abilities.
All right, Ms. Flores-Ike, bring us home.
Okay, I will. So whereas the Cabrillo Elementary School parent groups have been a treasured, supportive, and invaluable volunteer base for the Cabrillo Elementary School site, always recognizing that it is all about the children, and whereas the parent volunteers of Cabrillo Elementary School have brought a wealth of experience, energy, and excitement to the benefit of the Cabrillo Elementary School site by contributing their time and efforts to provide a warm, welcoming, and professionally rewarding atmosphere for the teachers and staff of the school. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District recognizes Cabrillo Elementary School parent volunteers for their many contributions to the students, staff, and families of the district. And further be it resolved that the board hereby extends its heartfelt appreciation to the Cabrillo Elementary School parent groups on behalf of the community, staff, and most importantly, the students of the district. Regularly passed and adopted this 18th day of May, 2022.
Yeah. Well, are there any questions or comments regarding these resolutions?
And just thank you to all the volunteers that keep the schools going.
All right, do I have a motion to adopt resolutions 2022-05-18-L through 2022-05-18 through -L? So that was wrong. Okay, E through L.
Motion to approve.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Barbara, will you take the vote, please?
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0.
Resolution 2022-05-18-M, recognizing June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month. Dr. Olson.
Okay, June is Pride Month, and so in preparation, we'd like to propose this resolution. If we have the strength to each read a paragraph, I'd recommend that we do that. We are ordering Progress Pride flags so that we would fly those at our schools through the month of June. And we'll be addressing that a little bit later in the meeting around board policy around flags. So may I kick it off? So recognizing June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in the Pacifica School District, whereas Pacifica School District is committed to supporting dignity, equity, and visibility for all people in the community, and
Whereas the Pacifica School District and Coastside region have a diverse lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and/or questioning community. And whereas many residents, students, family members, and school personnel are part of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and/or questioning community.
And whereas, although advancements have been made with respect to equitable treatment of LGBTQ plus persons still face discriminations simply for being who they are, thus making it important for all districts and all communities to stand up and show support for all our students, staff, and families who are affected. And
whereas many cities across the United States recognize and celebrate June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month, and whereas June has historically become a symbolic month in America in which LGBTQ plus persons and allies come together in various celebrations of pride to support the community's right to live their lives out loud. And
whereas this June of 2021, we celebrated Coast Pride's second birthday at the opening of Coast Pride Center and endorsed such a community center for all LGBTQ plus persons and allies as a resource for our students and families. And
whereas this June, we will be raising the LGBTQ plus flag at our district office because we are proud to stand in solidarity with Coast Pride and signal to all who are fortunate to live and visit Pacifica that people of all sexual orientations and gender identities and expression are welcome here. And
whereas the rainbow flag created in 1978 is a flag with 6 distinct colors, I won't read them, that has been come to know all as the internationally recognized symbol of the LGBT community. And
whereas the Progress flag created in 2018 has added 5 arrow-shaped lines to the rainbow flag, including black and brown stripes to represent LGBTQ plus communities of color, along with the colors of pink, light blue, and white, which are used on the transgender pride flag. And the Progress flag is now recognized as underscoring the intersections within the LGBTQ plus community and honoring LGBTQ plus people of color whose activism inspired the very first Pride Month, as well as people of different gender identities.
And whereas flying the Progress flag at the district office throughout the month of June further symbolizes the district's celebration of diversity and support for all LGBTQ plus students, families, and staff in our community. Go ahead. Now, therefore, the Pacifica School District does hereby declare the month of June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month. Furthermore, Pacifica School District will recognize June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month by flying the Progress flag at the district office during the month of June. Passes and adopted this 18th day of May 2022.
I'd actually just like to make one little adjustment, which is that we would like to fly the flag at all of our sites, including Lindemar, and we missed that in the resolution. But if we just say, whereas flying the Progress flag throughout the month, and we'll just take at the district office off. We wrote this last year, so we'll take that piece off of there. And if you would approve that as amended.
Any question regarding this resolution? Okay, do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2022-05-18-M?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Barbara, will you take the vote, please?
Yes, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
All right, working group on priorities and funding update. This is Dr. Olson.
I will move quickly through this. Two Elna Flynn Award winners, Rebecca Slater and Tara Nuts. I'm not putting you on the spot. You're allowed to leave, as well as Dr. Kundo are a part. Are a part of. It's Dr. Kundo's birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Bye. Thank you. Are a part of our working group. We had probably our last working group for this school year, and The working group went in a different direction than we were expecting. As we talked about in the initial formation, we thought that it may be kind of a natural path to looking at perhaps a parcel tax. And it just became clear that we need to improve our message in a way that simplifies the complexity of California school finance in a way that people understand it. So in developing the presentation over multiple iterations, there are 26 improvements that have been suggested, like being able to add the nuances of classified staff and make comparisons of that to other school districts. So we still have a fair amount of work to do around that. However, one of the things that became really clear is two of the highest priorities are improving staff compensation and secondly, continuing to support the mental health counselors that we have paid for with COVID relief funds. So those are the two highest ones. In May and June, it's unlikely that we're going to make significant progress on that presentation. And so in September, we'll be able to address some of the needs around communication and further refine that message to look at how we can use district resources to support increasing staff salaries as well as continuing with the mental health counselors. So at this point, we are done. When the presentation is done, we'll gather that group back up and to gather their feedback, because ultimately what we want is the members of that committee to be able to share that information with their neighbors and do that clearly. And in our work with Mr. Levinson, he admitted that it was just a very complex situation. One is that there aren't pressing, burning needs. People generally are pretty happy here, and that there's not a clear path any one way that in those directions. So at this point, we are concluding the work and closing the door for the school year, and then we'll get started on some continued refinement of the message in the fall. Are there any questions?
And when will the presentation be?
Yep, so the presentation has to be done before it comes out. There's no, it wouldn't make sense to present something that generated significant questions. So what we'll do is we will probably have a small contract with Mr. Levinson to help us finish the message, and then we would come back to the working group, ask for their feedback. They've really helped refine the message in many different ways and set the direction for the work, but probably maybe September, October, and then we could share it more publicly, share it with PTOs, other organizations. So I would expect that would happen in the fall. Any other questions?
Informational items, so move on to the next. Declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 2022-2023 school year, and you said Dr. Torres is ill.
Dr. Torres is ill. Ms. Peterson, would you like me to do that one?
If you'd like to, otherwise I could too, it's up to you.
Okay. How about you do Mr. Lucy's?
Okay, I will do that.
At the very end. Okay. So this is an important piece of moving forward, is that annually we have to submit to the Commission on Teacher Credentialing just when there may be a need for flexibility based on unforeseen circumstances. And so based on the projections of enrollment, we anticipate that we may need following emergency permits for 2 resource specialists, 1 single subject teaching permit, and 1 multiple subject teaching permit for the upcoming 22-23 school year. And so it's the recommendation that the board approve the declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 22-23 school year. Any questions?
No questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the declaration of need for fully qualified educators?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Barbara, will you take the vote, please?
Yes, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0.
All right. Next is SFSU multiple and single subject credential internship agreement.
I've got that one. It's recommended that the board approve the memorandum of understanding with San Francisco State to place students enrolled in multiple subject and single subject credentials. So in the event that we would hire teachers in an internship position, we would like to work with San Francisco State to support the teachers in their credentialing program. The cost to us would be $1,000 per student. Do you have any questions?
Does, yes.
Yes.
Does the $1,000 go to the student or goes to the intern, not to the teacher that's working with them?
No, my understanding is that the $1,000 goes to, I can read it, but I thought that the money went to San Francisco State.
Intern, okay. All right. That was my only question, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Do I have a motion to approve the SFSU multiple and single subject credential internship agreement?
A motion to approve?
I'll second.
Okay. Barbara, will you take a vote, please?
All in favor, please raise your hands. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Bond Oversight Committee Annual Report. Josie Peterson.
Thank you. This is an information item for the board. I'm happy to report that the Bond Oversight Committee met on May 3rd. And I just want to read off the current committee members. We do have two members, Mary Trenor from Ortega and David Todd, the business organization member who would like to speak tonight. But the current members are Dennis Schillenberg from a business organization, Betsy Margaret Landrum from Sunset Ridge, Amy Swanson from Ballymore School, Jessie Levin from Cabrillo School, Chelsea DeBarro from Ingrid B. Lacey, Patricia Balmas from Ocean Shore, and then again Mary Trenor and David Todd. And the board representatives are Linda Brocchini and Nidhi Patel. Dr. Heather Olson, myself, and project manager CC May also attend the meeting. So John is going to elevate Mary.
Mary is elevated. I do not see David.
He's right here. Because he's
You're
human.
elevated.
I wasn't sure if David wanted to speak or not. I know Mary will speak, and then if you'd like to say something as well.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, we reviewed the project status that was presented by the project manager of many infrastructure type projects. And I didn't see the money being misspent at all. I think the project manager had a very good grasp on every single project. I think the district is targeting the right types of contractors for each of the jobs. And I just thought that, these are some projects that the schools and the kids really need. And all of that prioritization happened before this meeting, but I will just say that it was impressive that such attention is being put on each of these projects, and that the funds really are being directed in a very responsible manner. And I think that the citizens, I'm one of them, should be grateful for the oversight by the school. And this, really just look forward to seeing these projects continuing until they're complete, and watching the money get spent very well so that you guys can get more bonds.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mary Trainer, and I'm a parent with two children at Ortega School. I recently joined the Bond Oversight Committee and attended my first meeting on May 3rd. CC Meng, the project coordinator, presented us with the full report on the Pacifica School District Measure O bond projects, and she provided detailed updates on, included detailed updates on where all of the projects stand. A summary of the status of the bond projects and the presentation is available on the district website. And I am also happy to report that my fellow committee members and I determined that the bond funds have been spent in accordance with the bond language and the district facilities master plan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you both for coming and speaking. We appreciate that.
That was just for information.
Informational. Okay, next is outdoor education contract 2022-2023. And since Will is not here, Ms. Peterson, will you take that?
Thank you. Yeah, because Will is not here, I'd like to present to you tonight the 2022-2023 outdoor ed contract with San Mateo County. As you know, we were very successful this year in getting both 5th and 6th graders to outdoor education. And so we would like to continue with our 5th graders for next school year. And the contract is attached for your review.
And paid for with the parcel tax.
Yes, and paid for with the parcel tax funds.
All right. Are there any questions regarding this contract?
I just want to make one comment. Actually, speaking as a parent of a 6th grader, and I know I was part of the vote, but it was very much appreciated and that the 6th graders got to go to outdoor ed this year because they had missed the previous year because of COVID. So, so as a parent, thank you. I know I'm part of the group here, but it was very much appreciated, and I think it's a great program. So.
I received many thank you from parents of 6th graders. 5th grade, it's our touchstone. We do that, but those kids didn't get that year. So it was really important that we did that.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the 2022-2023 outdoor education contract with San Mateo County Superintendent of Schools?
I'll make a motion.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Barbara, will you take the vote, please?
Yes, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, policy for temporary display of flags on district property.
So as we prepared for Pride Month and the flying of the flag, it's been recommended by San Mateo County Council is that we develop a policy for the display of flags on district property. And so just kind of big picture for each of you is that flags on flagpoles are a form of district speech, not private speech. And so by following this policy, that will allow us to consider other flags that would represent the viewpoints of the district. And so what we would do is bring this to you for first reading this time. Any questions that you have, we'll answer. If you don't have any further questions, we would bring it to consent on June 1st. And then we would fly the flags at the school on June 2nd. Any questions?
It does say action, so I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, agendized it as a discussion action.
Oh, but see, policy should always be a double. They should be a discussion and give the public any opportunity to come in. So let's, if you're okay, because our next meeting is very perfectly timed on June 1st, then we can go with the June 2nd piece of that. So I prefer to do it over 2, just to kind of keep with our policy, our policy on policies.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. So any questions? Just all right. Future agenda items.
So essentially, we're going into LCAP land, which means that on Friday, Barbara will post for public hearings on both the LCAP and the budget. We give a 10-day warning on that. We'll find those meetings to be full, but are there any other? I know that we have talked at length about information that you would like in terms of answering questions. Next week is the special ed study session on the special ed report. That will start at 6 o'clock right here. We also will publish, we will be broadcasting on Pacific Coast Television. And then on the 15th, we would do the approval of the LCAP and the budget. So any other requests?
I just have kind of, since we're going through a surge, and, I've been reading from at CSBA, all the different school districts that are going back to the mask mandates, or what I was going to suggest is if, you know, some of us get COVID, are we still going to be able to do business? Can we reinstate or talk about the having virtual just in case, just to make it through the end of the year? I mean, is there anything you can do just in case?
So we could put that on either next week's agenda, or we could put it on the first for the agenda. In terms of, I'm trying to think, we would have to take action to go to the virtual meeting, and we would have to make that decision. Or the other piece is with the posting of the agenda on a Friday, we could do the distance if one person had COVID. So as opposed to us all going to a virtual realm, that would be the piece that we could accommodate. We have had a few staff members that are out ill, and we're finding that to be more and more the case. So should we put that on the June 1st agenda?
I think we should as soon as possible.
Okay.
Just so we can keep the business going, because I know we're on a tight schedule. And just like Carla, you know, I'm sure she's sick and she's still tuning in, but, you know, it's just a concern.
Okay. So should that be a part of next week's special study session, or should that be?
Yeah, we should get on as early as possible.
Okay.
So are you talking about switching to complete virtual, or just the option of one or two people being virtual?
Well, whatever, I don't know if we have options like that, if we have to decide one or the other. I'm just concerned that we have a really tight schedule, and just like right now, only half the admin's here. And so if, you know, some of us get sick and we're having in person, there isn't any business that can be finished without a quorum.
So I can put something on the agenda. So what I might recommend is that we have the board study session at 6 o'clock, and that we could set something for 7:30. The board study session may go all the way until 8 o'clock, but that way we could have the discussion afterwards in terms of, could everyone stay maybe until 8:30? I know those are long days. There are you?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, great. We'll add that to the study session for next time. Okay, thank you.
That's all for future agenda items. We're good? Are we good? Anything else? All right, and we can adjourn at 8:31.